Future people are genetically changed to stop aging at 25. Adults over 25 have 1 year to live. A watch on a person's forearm shows their life, and time is currency. Rich people can live forever, but impoverished people live paycheck to paycheck. Under 24 hours, Will wakes. He descends to welcome Rachel's 50th birthday. Discussion of money ends their party. Rachel notifies Will of her 3-day loan and payment deadline. Will gives money. Rachel scheduled 2 days of work and loan repayment. Will is told to meet her at a bus station again. Will has 30 minutes to buy a tasty dinner. He kisses her goodbye and heads to work. Child Will meets Maya on his way to work. Will cheerfully gives her 5-minute request and ships her off. He observes Burrell working. Factory Will creates timekeepers. He leaves and gets paid after a long day. Will asks more money because his payment is low, but the distributor states the quota quadrupled and he didn't meet it. Will declines to gambla with some men in a local tavern, but tells one he owes him an hour. Will spends an hour at Borel. Drunk Borel suggests someone buy drinks for everyone. His claim is over 100. Will tells Henry someone is watching. Will's plea to leave is denied since he's drawing attention. Everyone exits when men enter the bar. Minutemen rob and extort. Burrell informs Will. Burrell pulls Will aside, but Will watches. Burrell goes after he promises not to do dumb. Leader Fortis will defend Henry's time. Uneasy, Henry goes to the bathroom. He vomits as a Minuteman watches. Will rushes in, knocks him down, and grabs Henry. The Fortis troops pursue Will and Henry as they flee. After climbing a barrier and sheltering in an abandoned building, they escape. Once Minuteman tells Fortis he recognized Will, they quit. Henry introduces himself as 105 to Will. He acts rashly because he wants death and is psychologically exhausted. He and his mother work many jobs to survive, so Will is enraged. Henry then unveils their dreadful world's secrets. Price increases kill poor people and give rich people time. Everyone has ample time. Greed and immortality blind the wealthy. Henry requests equal attention from Will. Will vows not to waste time like Henry. Henry contemplates Will's words and rests. Henry spends most of the morning with sleeping Will. Will awakens with over 100. Henry waits on a bridge looking for him. Henry smiles and falls into the river as he counts down to death. Will sees Greta, Burrell's wife, holding their child. Will asks Burrell, who gives his time. Will recalls the night before, leaving Burrell confused. Will wants justice after discovering the truth. Before leaving, Will presents Burrell. Wealthy Burrell observes the pub across the street. Rachel borrows money for 2 days to take the bus, but the fare has risen. She begs the driver and passengers, but is ignored. Desperately runs. Rachel risks death constantly in the race against time. Finally, they meet. Rachel and Will run, but die. Will embraces deceased Rachel. Will cries, knowing their dream was seconds away. Will has unlimited time, but his mother doesn't. The next day, timekeepers retrieve Henry's body from the river. Raymond, senior timekeeper, and Jaeger, junior, probe. As they leave, Raymond spots a bridge camera. Will's automobile attire and expression are fresh. Left time zone, class gap. Each border he crosses costs more. The last border costs Will a year, and the driver welcomes him to New Greenwich. Will's driver questions why he traveled to New Greenwich to demand payment. Will's city knowledge is limited. He dashes after exiting the car, used to time limitations. He stares at his arm like he has forever. Attracted Sylvia. Will wants a hotel suite. In his luxury room, Will wakes up 105. He mourns his mother even in the greatest bed and chamber. This is his first gourmet meal and drink. He frequently buys lunch and tips the waitress. That waitress said Will is faster than everyone. Will says he dallies on important issues. Casino entry needs changing clothes. Timekeeper headquarters surveillance recording shows Will. A man crossed various borders to reach New Greenwich, said Jaeger. The computer discloses more about Will, and Raymond says he knows his father. Will plays casino poker. Dealers negotiate, while Philippe, a billionaire with long expertise, meets Will. Will's poker winnings may reach 200 after a few rounds. Phil adds 50 years into the pot. Will calls loudly, and the river is a diamond 6. Will stares at Felipe's attractive partner Sylvia instead of the game. Felipe demonstrates almost 10 millennia by rolling sleeves. The vast wealth divide is defended as natural selection, added 2 centuries. Biting and calling, Will gives his arm 30 seconds. Millennium wins for Will. This invigorated Philippe's routine. He sees Will looking at Sylvia and asks if she's his mother, wife, or grandma. A lovely woman, says Will. Felipe calls her his daughter and asks him to party. Will drives his winnings to Felipe's residence the next day in a new automobile. He meets 3 generations of sister sisterly women. Will looks out of place upscale. He escapes a lonely night with Sylvia, chat and dance after meeting. Will dodges her question regarding his bad upbringing. Sylvia tells him her pointless life and time constraints. While Philippe and her wife watch, Will pulls Sylvia to shore. Will and Sylvia swim naked and inches apart. They float on the ocean with moonlight on their arms. Sylvia withdraws, yet waves attract her. Someone on the coast shouts, ending the romance. Philippe offers Will poker when they return. The timekeepers confront Will upon entering. Raymond introduces himself at work. Why and how he's in New Greenwich for millennia confuses him. Will says Henry murdered himself and gave it to him. Raymond rejects his explanation, pauses, and arrests him. Will asks him why he studies suicide while ghetto killings occur daily as he exits. His statement shocks Raymond by recalling Will's father. After defeating the timekeepers, Will flees to jail Sylvia. They leave in his car through the kitchen. Will loses control as Raymond rams his car during a chase. In reverse, Will dodges a truck well. They hide behind a bridge after losing timekeepers. Sylvie skips Will's time. Morning highway traffic surges. They crash after a tire bursts. Fortis men approach the unconscious couple. Sylvia has 30 minutes, but they leave quickly. After Will gives her time, they rush for more. 3 minutes remain when Will knocks on Burrell's door. Greta tells Will Burrell died from alcohol. In the dying minutes, Sylvia panics. Will finds her earring, so they run to the jeweler. Since they're desperate, he underpays and promises 2 days. Will agreed, so they hide when the timekeeper's sirens sound. Walking around the city, they discuss Sylvia's family company. Will asks, but she thinks knowing their value is too much. Will phones Raymond to ask Philippe for a ghetto millennium for Sylvia. Raymond warns him that continuing will kill him like his father. Will believes his father died fighting, but Raymond claims he did worse. Will lets Sylvia sleep in his flat. Will tells her about her mother's death when she asks about his family. He remembers his father gambling on another game. His father bet time. His wealthy father died from generosity. Their shared ages and histories bind them. In the morning, he examines Felipe's commitment. Sylvia is disappointed by her father's time error. While short on time, Will release Sylvia. She kisses him when he brings her to the phone booth and gives her a gun farewell. Daughter confronts father for not honoring Will's wishes. Will speaks without knowing Raymond's revolver. Sylvia shoots Raymond upon spotting him. Will points his gun at bleeding Raymond, but he gives him some and drives away. Sylvia asks whether he has plans while parked on the main road. They block an unfortunate driver as police cruiser timekeepers. Will and the driver are astonished by Sylvia's fast fire. The new car is stolen from the passenger. Later that day, they watch their news in the back seat. Will suggests Sylvia return to her father, but she doesn't want her boring life back. Will kiss again, longer. Felipe tells his partners he didn't pay office ransom. They doubt he can fix it, but Raymond comes before Felipe explains. He informs Felipe that her daughter refuses rescue. Felipe apologizes and blames Stockholm Syndrome on his troublesome daughter. Raymond refuses and threatens to arrest his daughter. Raymond declines Felipe's time. Sylvia learns about gunfire the next day from Will. After hearing Will's suggestion to give people time, she offers assistance. Truck breaks local bank glass. Criminals steal as many timepieces as possible. They rush in after ordering borrowers to wait. Will offers Greta, Maya, and the Timeline distributor charity time later that day. Fortis tortures and kills. He then sees a 10-year prize for Will and Sylvia's capture. Felipe watches his daughter. Robbery attempt. Raymond and the timekeepers guard their home at night. To avoid capture, Will and Sylvia jump out the window. Raymond follows them down dark alleys. A shooting begins as they climb roofs. Lost Raymond on a bus. Fortis wants Will and Sylvia. He threatens to steal group questioning time. A man claims to know a deceased's location. They discuss future difficulties on the motel couch. Both know they'll die if caught. Sylvia felt more alive than ever when they nearly died together. Men from Fortis broke the door. Fortis kindly grants Will lifelong play. Will accepts Fortis's strong-arm challenge. Will struggles until the last seconds, then prevails when Fortis loses focus. He gets afraid when subordinates approach the table. Will takes a revolver from his ankle and shoots everyone while draining Fortis. Will and Sylvia watch prices rise from a rooftop. Will fears the rich will raise living costs every time they steal. 1 million years matter, he argues. Sylvia agrees but plans. Next day, Philippe enters a bodyguarded building. This father, Sylvia requests. Guard Felipe's head is aimed at by Will. Guards disarm and kidnap Philippe at his command. A million-year device is in his office office's time vault. Philippe thinks society will collapse if the wrong people get that time, says immortality seekers sacrifice others. Will panics and aims a gun at him, but calms down. Will tells Philippe immortality is useless. The two depart. Police cars block major roadways. Will and Sylvia somehow cross the border by ramming the toll booth, surviving the timekeeper's gunfire. Raymond tracks them. Raymond hits them as they approach ghetto safety. Living, he asks Maya for 1,000,000 years. Ray raises a gun at them, but the crowd hides his view, letting them escape. After Raymond hijacks a car, the chase continues. They fight in the street last. Raymond from the ghetto decided to maintain the rich-poor gap after escaping poverty. Raymond feels out of time when talking. Both strive to refill theirs after his unexpected death. With seconds left, they run to Raymond's car. Will arrives first and gets time. He runs to Sylvie, who has seconds. Escape into each other's arms and live. Citizens cross borders into pricier areas. Minutemen watch society fall. Sylvie and Will frequent a large time bank.